Hi guys, Will here. Thanks for joining this video. In this video today, I thought I would put out another video talking about our, fearless,
Quit touching my penis!
professional,
Quit touching my penis!
courageous,
Quit touching my penis!
revolutionary,
Quit touching my penis!
and a very proud freedom fighter.
Quit touching my
Look at him
penis!
taking my.
I love these videos. Honestly, the work that these frauditors do is so comical and so entertaining to me. But, I think it's time I came clean with you all. And that is, I'm at a bit of a loss. I'm having trouble finding cases, statutes, laws, all those things. I'm having trouble finding them to diffuse what the frauditors do. I mean, according to what I've been able to find so far, what the frauditors do is 100% lawful, and I can't really back it up. If only there was some law that specifically stated that the frauditors' claim to the First Amendment is false. I honestly have to laugh at how these frauditors want to claim that the First Amendment is so absolute and there's nothing that trumps what I'm doing when there's literally an amendment right here that says that. But anyway, what does the 10th Amendment say? It says that the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And again, it's funny how frauditors want to claim how absolute the Constitution is, but then choose to ignore the one specific amendment that specifies that if a law is not specifically delegated in the Constitution, the rights or regulation of an establishment belongs to the people. Now, the 10th Amendment has been later specified by the courts as clarification that the federal government at times can be largely limited or overly specific. So, recognizing this, the 10th Amendment allows the states to expound on the rights given to them by the supreme law of the land in order to ensure that people have the full rights granted to them by the law, including regulating business activities. Now, how do we know this? Well, look at the language of the amendment. It says that powers are reserved to the states, meaning that the powers that are not specifically specified by the Constitution are reserved to the states to make specific rules and regulations on. Now, this is applicable when this argument is made.
Policies cannot trump the Constitution.
Well, at least follow our rules.
No, that's
You can't record in here, sir.
a rule does not trump the First Amendment. Wait.
Enforce a judicial order, and you're violating that.
Are you law enforcement?
Yes, I am.
Enforcement?
I am law enforcement.
Okay, so you enforce laws, not policy.
I also enforce the buildings.
Am I being kicked out of a public building?
You're not allowed to film here. Look, the sign's right there.
Well, that's just the policy. I mean, this is the public.
Videotaping in here, because obviously they have to.
I get that, but this is federal property, right? So they just don't get to make up rules. Law is what matters.
This really brings to mind that argument that the frauditors make: law versus policy. Frauditors will say that, oh, well, your sign is unconstitutional because it's just a policy, it's not law, or oh, you're supposed to be law enforcement, not policy enforcement. But again, according to the 10th Amendment, as we have discussed, it is the right of an individual or an establishment to regulate what takes place on their said establishment if it is not strictly prohibited by the Constitution. So if a business owner wants to put in a sign or a policy regulating what takes place in their firm and making rules, they are 100% allowed to do so. And that's the point. Now let's bring us some case law on this matter. This case, and when I was doing research, I found there weren't a super amount of recent cases that really highlighted this point, but there were some cases that really brought out some interesting points. In particular, this one, U.S. v. Sprague from 1931. It really goes to specify specifically what the purpose of the 10th Amendment is. And there's a point in this case that really clarifies that the Constitution is to ensure, as we mentioned earlier, or protect the rights of the states to protect themselves from being confined by the federal government. So this will enable them to create rules that are locally applicable to said state. That's why every state has regulations that vary. Every state is able to amend certain policies or statutes or whatever the case might be. Again, this is the right governed by the 10th Amendment to local states, to local constitutions, as specified in the 10th Amendment. Now, another case that stands out, Prince v. United States, where the outcome of the case was that the Supreme Court ruled that the government had, in fact, unconstitutionally required states and local officials to conduct background checks on firearm purchasers, as this was a right that was regulated to states and local officials, not by the government. So therefore, this actually violated the 10th Amendment. Now, Justice Scalia emphasized this decision where he held that the federal government could not require state and local law enforcement agencies to perform said background checks on prospective gun owners. So again, it goes to show that the Supreme Court has ruled that states have the right to govern or make rules and regulations that are not 100% specified in the Constitution, which is, again, against what the frauditors' argument is, that the First Amendment is absolute, because it's not. The Constitution, yes, is to protect the rights of individuals, but that doesn't mean that one person's rights trump everyone else's rights, or an individual can pick and choose what rights they want to enforce. The Constitution is the Constitution, and the 10th Amendment is part of said Constitution. So my question all this to the frauditors is the Constitution absolute or not? You say that you're fighting for our rights under the First Amendment to stick cell phones in people's faces, but if that amendment is absolute, why is the 10th Amendment not absolute, saying that the powers are reserved to the states? Or vice versa to the frauditors. If the 10th Amendment means nothing, why should we listen to them when they say that the First Amendment under free press means everything? If I could just pick the brain of a frauditor, which I know there's not a whole lot up there in their heads, but if I could, that's my big question. They can't have it both ways, so which is it? Thanks for watching the video, everyone. I'm definitely going to come back to this topic because I feel like there's definitely a lot more research to be done. But again, thank you all for your recent support. Please continue to like and support the channel, and I'll see you all next time.